Perilous Portsmouth, 130,000 big ship movements a year, yachts sailing alongside the massive steel walls of ferries and other commercial vessels. All this and a tide that can run at up to 5 knots. Entering Portsmouth Harbour isn't just about navigation, it's about survival in one of the busiest strips of water in the UK. I'm over 80 now and I take Zephyr IV in and out all the time, but it still gets my full attention. So I'm going to show you how to get your boat in and out without becoming an accident statistic. Firstly, for my viewers in other countries, this is where you'll find Portsmouth. It's at the eastern end of the Solent on the south coast of the UK. As you can see, it's a large body of water that stretches some 7 miles inland and joins the Solent through a tiny entrance just 200 metres wide. And here is your challenge as a visiting yachtsman. Somehow you've got to get through the entrance without getting in the way of the big ships. They have limited options when sailing in or out. They are constrained by their depth firstly, and also by the limited swinging space for their stern, so they can't steer much, and they are certainly unlikely to be able to avoid you in your small yacht. So it's up to you to keep out of the way. The entrance is controlled by the Kings Harbourmaster, KHM, and back in 2023 they introduced our very own route into the harbour, the Small Boat Channel. Here it is on the chart. It runs down the western side of the main shipping channel and stretches between the number 4 Bar Buoy outside the harbour to the ballast pile inside the harbour. It's just 50 metres wide, tucked in the western side of the main channel into the harbour. Sail in there and you should be safe. And here are a couple of aerial views. This one going into the harbour. You can see the line of red piles to the left or port side of the channel, and a yacht coming towards us, actually in the Small Boat Channel. And here is a view looking out of the harbour with a mixture of boats again in the Small Boat Channel. Okay, so now you know where the safe passage into the harbour is. Come with me and I'll show you how I sail the whole thing on Zephyr IV. We're coming from the west now and approaching Gilkicker Point with its distinctive green pile. Whatever you do, don't go to the shore side of this. There's a steep gravel bank in there and you don't want to be stuck on that. By now I like to have the VHF radio listening for KHM on channel 11, just in case there's a planned naval movement or a big cruise ship coming through the entrance. Once you're round Gilkicker, in theory you can head straight for number 4 Bar Buoy across this area of shallow water. Most people don't seem to do that. They head a bit further out, so they join the shipping channel nearer to number 2 Buoy. As you can see on the chart, this area is a bit shallow and the area marked as numerous small obstructions is a bit worrying, so I aim to stay clear of that even at high water. There is another route close inshore called the Inner Swashway. It's a bit shallow in places and only recommended for use by those with local knowledge. Quite safe towards high water though, I think. The route to number 2 Bar Buoy is through the Swashway, and when the tide is right it is used by the Isle of Wight ferry, so you have to watch out for that. Well, here we are, close to the red number 2 Bar Buoy, and across the main channel you can see the green number 1 Bar Buoy. I turn to port here and follow the channel down to number 4 Bar Buoy. There's enough water for Zephyr IV, so I often stay just outside the channel completely. Depends on how many other yachts are around. With a decent westerly wind, this is a good broad reach and you might be tempted to sail all the way in. Don't even think about it. The wind in the actual entrance is very variable, both in strength and direction, and you could well end up stalled and without steerage way with a large vessel approaching. The KHM rule for the Small Boat Channel is that if you have an engine, it must be running by here, the number 4 Bar Buoy. Leave that to port and head towards the next red pile. KHM suggests that we all go down the channel in single file and avoid overtaking in the narrow Small Boat Channel. Unfortunately, some boat owners have obviously not read the rules. This pile has got direction arrows on it. If I'm going straight into the harbour, then I leave it to my left and carry straight on. If I was coming from the Inner Swashway, then I'd leave it to my left and go round it and into the harbour. It's a sort of marine roundabout. The next pile is quite close, just at the foot of the old signal tower. You'll find that plastered with information signs, and it's home to the Gosport National Coast Watch. I'll put a link to their website in the description below. If you get in a mess, they will hopefully spot you and communicate with the appropriate services. You can talk to them on VHF channel 65. You're now in the narrowest part of the Small Boat Channel, and the next red pile is just outside Fort Blockhouse. From here on you'll get a bit more room, and you should see the ballast pile with its 3 red piles ahead. The instruction is to leave that to port, and well done, you're in Portsmouth Harbour, and probably a bit lost. The eastern side of the harbour is Portsmouth, and the western side is Gosport. Nowadays the Portsmouth side is mainly for commercial shipping, and the Gosport side supports most of the yachting and boating for pleasure. The old Portsmouth dockyard has become a tourist attraction, but there is still an area that maintains Royal Naval ships, and it's not unusual to see one or more of the grey ships moored alongside. Don't be tempted to get closer. There is a constant patrol by one or more Ministry of Defence police launchers, and they will briskly warn you off. If you are rude to them, they will arrest you and put you and your boat in a dark, uncomfortable place forever. Well, that's what I was told by one of the policemen. There is a marina on the Portsmouth side, Gunwharf Quays, but whatever you do, don't just wander across to it from the ballast pile. You must linger by the ballast pile until you get permission from KHM on VHF channel 11 to cross the main shipping channel inside the harbour. Before I show you the marinas on the Gosport side, I must tell you about the Gosport Ferry. The distinctive green and white boats sail every 15 minutes or so across the harbour from Gosport to Portsmouth and back. It's good manners to make an effort to avoid them when they cross. The first marina to port as you enter the harbour is the Hornet Sailing Club. This is only available to surface personnel, but it shares an entrance with Haslar Marina, which is the biggest marina in the harbour, with over 600 alongside berths and a high-class restaurant on a converted lightship. Further into the harbour is Gosport Premier Marina with 477 berths and lots of facilities, including a fuel berth. I have a vested interest in the next marina, the Royal Clarence. It's tucked away behind Burrow Island and is less disturbed by the wash and waves in the main harbour. It's quite small by comparison with other marinas, about 150 alongside berths and splendid shower facilities. I've had a berth here for a number of years for Zephyr IV and can recommend it. The only downside I can see is that it does not have staff on duty 24 hours. They work 8 o'clock till 5 o'clock. That hasn't troubled me, though some people do complain about it. It's tucked away a bit, but this is how you find it. Proceed past Gosport Premier Marina and this big pier, and then just at the end you'll find a clearly marked channel into the Royal Clarence Marina. It's also the channel for the Portsmouth Offshore Group Marina and the Victoria Quay Boatyard, where Zephyr IV comes out every spring. Keep an eye on the depth as you go round the further green piles, as the mud has extended beyond the piles, and at low water there's not much water, so stay away from the piles. And here we are in the marina. Take note of the telephone number. It's the best way to contact the marina staff. They're not all that good at the radio. Now it's time to show you how to leave Portsmouth, and after that I'll show you the route into the harbour from the east and about the potentially vicious tide at the entrance, so keep watching. It's pretty easy to leave, you just have to keep a close eye on all the other boats. Here we are leaving Royal Clarence and we're quickly into the harbour itself. Keep well to starboard as you pass Gosport and the Haslam marinas, and pay attention to the Gosport Ferry. It doesn't take long to get to the ballast pile. Leave it to port. It acts as a useful traffic separation mark and also a check on the tidal current. Be aware that there might be boats waiting here to obtain permission to cross to Gunwharf Quay. From here you can clearly see the outgoing route, past all the navigational piles you passed coming in. Try and match your speed with the other boats so you don't need to overtake. We're just outside the entrance now and the tide is high, so a good number of boats are using the Inner Swashway. We're going to continue out to number 4 Bar Buoy before making our way out along the Solent. The important thing is to cross to the westward side of the main channel well before the number 4 Bar Buoy. I would certainly be across before number 2 Bar Buoy, and you really have to keep a close watch for any large vessels coming up the channel. Give yourself plenty of time. If in doubt, wait until the ship has gone by. They do go faster than you think. Whatever you do, don't drift up the main channel. It's illegal. You can be summoned and fined by KHM. Once you're at number 2 Bar Buoy, then you're in the right place to enter the small boat channel and safely into the harbour. Now to tides. The tidal stream at the entrance can be very strong. There are two reasons. Firstly, that huge body of water in the harbour has to squeeze in and out through that narrow entrance. Because the incoming tide passing up the English Channel is split by the Isle of Wight, Portsmouth and a lot of the Solent experience a double high tide about an hour apart. This means that the incoming tide and high water take 7 hours and the ebb has just 5. So all the water that has accumulated in the harbour over 7 hours has to get out through that narrow entrance in 5 hours. It pays to plan your arrival close to high water or low water to avoid that period halfway between the two when the tidal stream will be at its maximum, especially during the spring tide ebb. That's it really. You now have enough information to make a safe passage into and out of Portsmouth Harbour. It can get very busy and you do need to keep your wits about you. The title of this video came from a fellow yachtsman I met down the West Country. When I told him I came from Portsmouth, he immediately says, "Oh, perilous Portsmouth. Oh, I wouldn't want to go in there." I hope this video has helped any of you who feel that way about Portsmouth, and you'll make a safe visit before long. There's lots of information on the web about the harbour. I'll put links in the description below. Well worth a read. Usual end message. Please subscribe, like, comment, share and maybe hype. It all helps to keep me making the videos. Bye bye for now.